When it comes to your time, pay yourself first. Don't get up and check your emails and your WhatsApps and your social. If you're not going to give yourself time, nobody else will. The first habit is to commit to having good habits. And we've heard it from every successful person that if you start your day right, the rest of the day goes well. How you do anything is how you do everything. That the strongest trees don't grow in the best soil. They grow in the strongest winds. What most people would rather settle for is the path of least resistance, because they've been misled into thinking life is a comfort-centric experience. Condition is not the issue. How you choose to see or define the issue is everything. It has everything to do with the level of desire and the level of consciousness of the person who is seeking to change.
Hello to everybody. You're with The Way with Krassi Angelova and my incredible international guest. I'm very pleased to welcome Petersage here today. Petersage is an international entrepreneur, author, teacher, and an expert in human behavior. For his unique view of the world, for which he has won the Brand Laureate Award as an exceptional person. Other people who have won this award are Nelson Mandela, Steve Jobs, and Cristiano Ronaldo. Thank you for being here with us tonight and that you're dedicating your precious time to be here with our Bulgarian audience. Thank you so much, Peter.
It's my pleasure, and I'm very happy to add value.
Peter, you've helped millions of people around the world with your videos, trainings, programs. And how does somebody know that he's ready to change his life?
Great question. It is often said that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Although I've also found that the #1 rule of coaching is that if you want it more for them than they want it for themselves, you're wasting your time. So the first answer to the question is that, are you looking to help others, or are they seeking you out? Because we have no right to tell people what to do. We can only help those who want to be helped.
And how then, if we have the same situation, how come one person succeeds to change and another one doesn't?
It has nothing to do with the external circumstances or the backstory at all, or the access to resources. It has everything to do with the level of desire and the level of consciousness of the person who is seeking to change. Some people are very happy to stay in victim mode because it gives them the excuse not to have courage. There's the famous story of the two twins from the alcoholic father. One grew up to be very, very successful. The other was a miserable failure. And when asked the question, why did you become successful? And to the other twin, they asked, why did you become a failure? They both gave the same answer. They both said, well, if your father was a drunk, what would you become? Both shared the same background, the same parents, the same DNA, the same opportunities, but they both chose to see it and interpret it differently. And that will always be the difference. It's the same as the quotes, two men sat behind prison bars, one saw mud, the other saw stars. The condition is not the issue. How you choose to see or define the issue is everything.
Thank you for this answer. Here in Bulgaria, people are like, there's always something that is, it's time's fault, it's the politician's fault, it's somebody else's fault. How can people realize that the responsibility actually lies with them?
It starts with understanding that as human beings, we are programmed by our environment. So if we choose to watch the media or the news, we will be programmed with negativity, because that is the business of the media and the news. If we understand that who we hang around with has a massive impact on our own potential of future and belief system. If you hang around and have friends who are 9 recreational drug users, that look at life as to why they're a victim and why life doesn't work and why it's everybody else's fault, you're most likely going to become the 10th person. If you hang around with 9 people who are positive and upbeat and looking to improve themselves and always looking at opportunities through the belief of how I can, not why I can't, you're going to become the 10th. So it's the law of conformity, and we don't get to change it. We can only get to choose which environment we go into. There's a saying in England that misery loves company. I don't believe that is true. I believe misery loves miserable company. So one has to question, why are you hanging around with negative people, or why are you allowing yourself to be programmed with negative information? What is wrong is always available, but so is what is right.
I can listen to you for hours. That's why I'm just being quiet. You said something very interesting about television. I would like to ask you about it.
Of course.
I have something yours here with me. Your book, The Inside Track. Here you're mentioning something really interesting, that the television is a device for lowering your income. Could you please explain a little bit more? What do you mean by that?
Yes, the electronic income reducer, as I call it. What most people would rather settle for is the path of least resistance, because they've been misled into thinking life is a comfort-centric experience. The reason most people don't fulfill their potential is because they are looking for the path of least resistance, because they think life is a comfort-centric experience, a comfort-based experience. One of the greatest days in a human being's life on their journey of potential is to wake up and realize life is a growth-centric experience, not a comfort-centric experience. That the strongest trees don't grow in the best soil. They grow in the strongest winds. And if we want to become stronger versions of ourselves, which is why we're here, we need to encounter the strong winds so we can grow. We know in biology that if a mammal looks at something as a threat, it goes weak. And if it looks at something as a challenge, it goes strong. And most people are looking at their challenges as threats instead of opportunities for growth. So our responsibility is to understand that we are born athletes in the gym of life, not people who are looking to sit on the couch.
You made a very fluent transition to my next question. How does exercising, what we do in the gym or other kinds of physical activities, how does that influence our personal growth, personal development?
How you do anything is how you do everything. The gym is a great way of demonstrating how comfortable you are getting out of your comfort zone. Now, your body is actually pre-programmed. It has rules that say if you push it past its limits, it has to return with a better version of itself. We understand that physically, but it's also the same emotionally. So if you're looking to improve yourself, you also need energy. People's biggest excuse a lot of the time is they don't have the energy. So if you neglect your body, you are not going to have the energy to go do the things that would also inspire you to live the life of your dreams. One of my business mentors was a multi-billionaire. We spent a lot of time together over 15 years, but he didn't value health. And he was overweight, couldn't walk more than 100 yards, and would have given all of that up for his health. So health is a good benchmark, a good indicator of, are you willing to move forward in your life with the level of energy that is required to go live your potential? Or do you want to watch Netflix and eat ice cream?
Maybe both, or all of it.
Where do you live and where do you visit? See, if you live in the gym, you can visit McDonald's once in a while. It doesn't have an impact. But if you live in McDonald's and visit the gym once in a while, it's not going to have an impact. But if you decide to visit too often, you'll probably end up living there. So be careful.
Could you share with us the habits or the morning rituals that a person should have in order to have more energy, to be more motivated to change his life?
The first habit is to commit to having good habits. And we've heard it from every successful person that if you start your day right, the rest of the day goes well. I've had what I call a morning routine for a couple of decades. And there's a great book written by Robin Sharma called The 5 a.m. Club. I'm very happy to get up 5 a.m. each day, and I will go and journal. I will meditate. I will then do my fitness and then have my juice and nutrition. Now, I have a 3-hour morning routine, but that would scare a lot of people, especially busy moms and dads. But as I said, the biggest benefit is to decide to have a routine. If it's half an hour and you meditate for 10 minutes, you journal for 10 minutes, you do 10 minutes stretching or yoga, it's a great start and you can build on that. Anything less than half an hour, you're making excuses.
Thank you for sharing those morning routines. I hope at least somebody decides to set this goal to have at least a 30-minute morning routine tomorrow.
It's your time for yourself. If you look at the financial equivalent, one of the best lessons you can learn is to pay yourself first. You will likely have just as much money as before, but at least you will have some for you now. When it comes to your time, pay yourself first. Don't get up and check your emails and your WhatsApps and your social. Get up and give yourself 30 minutes as a gift to you. If you're not going to give yourself time, nobody else will. Poor people pay themselves last. Stressed people give themselves time last.
You mentioned social media. What is the influence of social media on people in these days and age?
I call it anti-social media because so many people are being antisocial. They're looking to argue. They're looking to polarize. And it's become a way where people are trying to substitute connection or significance as a vehicle. Social media is not the life you have. It's the life you want everybody else to think you have.
That was a very good one, yes. Thank you for this sharing. We have made a lot of people think about it, for sure.
Talking about busy moms.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Yeah, he's going to be a star. Anything else I can support you with?
There is one question that I think is very important for people. When somebody is going through some test, how to fix our mind so we could go smoother through this situation?
Most people attach too much importance to outcomes that if they ask themselves the question, it doesn't need that much importance. And probably a better way of saying this, you cannot overestimate the unimportance of virtually everything. I honestly think my own language pattern is that it will be this or something better. I live in a friendly universe, not a hostile one. And when that is my belief, then if I fail a test, I'll take it again. If I don't have enough money on Friday, I'll find some friends. If I don't get the university I want, I'll find a different one. We make it too important and stress ourselves a lot of the time over what shouldn't be a life or death situation. Gotta rephrase that. When I believe that we live in a friendly universe, and I think that no matter what happens, it'll all turn out okay. One of the things I encourage people to say, or is to remind themselves that they are the prize, especially when it comes to relationships. If you're scared of rejection, if somebody else doesn't value you, or you don't get the job, or the person says no, it's their loss, not yours. and you probably have something better, because a lot of the time we faced adversity, 6 months later, we realized it was the best thing that ever happened. So if we know that in advance, why wait 6 months to celebrate?
We have many examples in life, and probably everyone listening to you now could think of one such example for themselves.
I would agree. Yeah, for some people, divorce is traumatic. For others, it's freedom. In winter, some people decide to complain about the cold. Others make a snowman.
In this same book, you are also mentioning that it's good for a person to practice letting go of everything they're afraid to lose. How do you do that?
One has to understand some fundamental truths that many people choose to ignore. Every relationship ends. Sorry, it's a fact. I don't care if that's a relationship with your soulmate, a relationship with your children, your business, or your body. At some point, that relationship will end. So when we realize that it is our attachments to something that provides the suffering, as the Buddha said, you have a beautiful boy there, but your wish is that he outlives you. Every parent's wish. Yeah. We just never get to choose when, and it's always too soon. But it is inevitable at some point. So the tighter we grip hold of the relationships or the attachments we have, the more they often hurt when they slip through our fingers. Also, the whole concept of ownership doesn't actually exist. It's an illusion. If you are starring in a movie, let's say The Fast and the Furious as a modern example, you get to drive some pretty cool cars, but you don't get to keep them at the end of the movie. You may think you own your house, but you don't get to keep it at the end of your movie. The house doesn't care whether you think you own it or not. I tell a story about my girlfriend a couple of years ago who lost a diamond in her ring, and she was upset. And I said to her, "Don't worry, it wasn't your diamond." And she says, "What do you mean? You gave it me." I said, "Honey, that diamond was around for 20 million years before you found it or were given it. It's going to be around for 20 million more years after you've gone. What makes you think you own it?" We get to look after things while we're here, but we give them all back. So now hear the phrase again. Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose. And what you discover is the freedom to enjoy them rather than the fear of losing them. Some people say, "I'm scared to die." I say, "No, you're not. You're scared to live. You're going to die. The body's going to die. It's just that you don't know what that means." See, I don't see death as the opposite of life. I simply see death as the opposite of birth. Now I'll go star in some other movie somewhere. Maybe I'll be a translator. I'm here to enjoy the life I have while I'm here, not be afraid of losing things that sometime I'm going to lose anyway.
Yes, this is very truthful. In that same book, it says, "I don't want to feed you with fish. I want to teach you how to fish."
Correct.
How do you do this? How do you do it with the people who follow you, who get in your programs, who want to learn from you?
I teach them to ask better questions. Questions are the steering wheel of the mind. Questions direct focus, and most people who are unhappy is because they are focusing on why they should be unhappy. My job is to hold up a mirror to reflect back their own greatness, not to try to enhance my own. To get them to believe in them as much as I believe in them. And once that has happened, my job is done.
And for the people who are now watching us or will watch us later, how can they join some of your programs? How can they get to work with you? Can you share something more about that?
Yes, I mean, we even have programs and books in Bulgarian. So I'm excited for that. And You can go to my English website, which is petersage.com, or you can go to my Bulgarian website, which is petersage.bg. And a lot of information on there I use to help people.
Thank you so much, Peter. I'm really grateful. I really feel blessed to be able to have you here, and I'm really happy that people, my audience, the people that follow me have this opportunity to experience such an extraordinary individual, world-class person like you.
I appreciate that, and the pleasure is mine, and I love what you do. Please keep doing it. You're helping many lives.
Thank you so much. See you on the other side very soon.
I look forward to it. Take care. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter.